Hi there. This morning I want to talk about uh, the new covenant and Jesus as the mediator of the new covenant. In the book of Hebrews, chapter 7, it talks about Jesus being our great high priest. So it says um, that you are a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek. So I want to read a little bit about the new covenant. It says, this makes Jesus the guarantor of a better covenant. The former priests were many in number because they were prevented by death from continuing in office. But he holds his priesthood permanently, talking about Jesus, because he continues forever. So Jesus is abiding forever, therefore he holds his priesthood permanently. Consequently, he is able to save to the uttermost those who draw near to God through him, since he always lives to make intercession for them. So when we're in relationship with God and we draw near to the Lord through faith, the Bible tells us that Jesus is continuing to make intercession for us. For it was indeed fitting that we should have such a high priest, holy, innocent, unstained, separated from sinners, and exalted above the heavens. He has no need, like those high priests, to offer sacrifices daily, first for his own sins, and then for those of the people, since he did this once for all when he offered up himself. So when Jesus died on the cross. For the law appoints men in their weakness as high priests, but the word of the oath, which came later than the law, appoints a son who has been made perfect forever. So now the point in what we are saying is this: we have such a high priest who is Jesus, one who is seated at the right hand of the throne of the majesty in heaven, a minister in the holy places in the true tent that the Lord set up, not man. For every high priest is appointed to offer gifts and sacrifices, thus it is necessary for this priest to have something to offer. Now, if he were on earth, he would not be a priest at all, since there are priests who offer gifts according to the law. They serve a copy and shadow of the heavenly things. For when Moses was about to erect the tent, he was instructed by God, saying, "See that you make everything according to the pattern that was shown you on the mountain." But as it is, Christ has obtained a ministry that is as much more excellent than the old, as the covenant he mediates is better. So talking about the new covenant, since it is enacted on better promises. For if that first covenant, which would be the old covenant, had been faultless, there would have been no occasion to look for a second, for he finds fault with them when he says, "Behold, the days are coming, declares the Lord, when I will establish a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah, not like the covenant that I made with their fathers, on the day when I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt. For they did not continue in my covenant, and so I showed no concern for them, declares the Lord. For this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, declares the Lord. I will put my laws into their minds and write them on their hearts, and I will be their God, and they shall be my people. And they shall not teach each one his neighbor and each one his brother, saying, Know the Lord, for they shall all know me, from the least of them to the greatest. For I will be merciful towards their iniquities, and I will remember their sins no more." And speaking of a new covenant, he makes the first one obsolete, which is the Old Testament, and what is becoming obsolete and growing old is ready to vanish away. So Jesus is in heaven right now as our mediator, and so and it says that he continues in his priesthood permanently because he continues forever. So Jesus died once, he was raised from the dead, so he's never going to die again. So therefore he can continually make intercession for us. And it says here, consequently, he is able to save to the uttermost those who draw near to God through him, since he always lives to make intercession for them. So we have Jesus as a high priest. We need to draw near to Jesus, remain in our faith in the new covenant that Jesus set up for us by his life, death, and resurrection. Thank you very much. A little bit about Jesus, our high priest.